When we hear about the Middle East, our minds almost automatically jump to the news headlines, right? Well, today, we're going on a totally different kind of journey. We are going to peel back those layers of politics to find the poetry, the history, and just the profound humanity of four absolutely incredible nations.
This is the story we hear all the time. It's a narrative of conflict, a soundtrack of tension that just fills our screens. And look, it's not that it's wrong, it's just that it's so incomplete.
I mean, what if behind all that noise, there are other sounds? The rhythm of ancient poetry, maybe the quiet hum of devotion, or the warm invitation to just share a glass of tea. That's the story we're going to explore today.
Because underneath the friction that gets reported on every single day, there's this whole other world of deep culture and hospitality. And it's in the small gestures, the little social codes, that you really start to see the truer picture.
Okay, a perfect example is the Iranian concept of tarof. It's this beautiful, intricate dance of offering and refusing. It's a whole system of politeness that puts respect way ahead of just being direct. It's a cultural nuance that completely shapes daily life, and it's something you would just never, ever grasp from a news report.
And these cultural depths, they're rooted in a history that is so immense, it's almost hard to wrap your head around it. We're talking about civilizations that literally laid the groundwork for our modern world. I mean, just look at this timeline. We are spanning millennia here, from the Persian Empire at its absolute peak, to the defiant stand at Masada, to these desert traders who built entire cities out of stone. This isn't just ancient history, it's the very bedrock of our collective memory. So let's talk about Persepolis for a second, the Tachara Palace, right? The stones there were polished so perfectly, they were literally like mirrors. And while the rest of the city was burned to the ground, this one palace endured. For centuries after, rulers would come and carve their own names into its walls as if they were trying to touch a piece of that immortality. And then you have the incredible ambition of Hegra, a place people often call the Petra of Arabia. The Nabateans, who were masters of the ancient incense trade, carved this city of the dead, more than 100 tombs, straight out of the desert cliffs. It was a massive statement of power and permanence in a world of shifting sand. And then there's Masada, a fortress palace sitting on a desert plateau that became the stage for one of history's most heartbreaking acts of defiance. Its story of resolve is so powerful that, even today, Israeli soldiers swear an oath on its summit: Masada shall not fall again.
So, from these ancient fortresses of the past, let's turn to the sanctuaries of the present. Places that are the spiritual heart for billions of people, alive with faith and devotion right now, today.
And wow, there is truly no place on earth quite like Jerusalem. It's a city of staggering contradictions. I mean, get this, it has been destroyed twice, besieged 23 times, and attacked 52 times, and yet it endures. It's a place where the bells of Christian churches actually blend with the Islamic call to prayer, a sacred, tense, and absolutely beautiful harmony. Then over in Haifa, you find a completely different kind of sanctuary, the Baha'i Gardens. 19 terraces of perfect mathematical symmetry that just cascade down a mountainside. It's a physical representation of the Baha'i belief in the oneness of humanity, tended by volunteers who come from every single corner of the world to be there. And of course, that journey of faith is absolutely central to Islam. You have the Kaaba in Mecca, the cube-shaped axis of faith that over 1 billion people turn toward to pray. Then there's the Serene Prophet's Mosque in Medina, the final resting place of the Prophet himself. And you even have modern masterpieces like Qatar's National Mosque, a place of quiet, stunning divinity. These aren't just buildings, they're anchors for a global community. All right, so just as the spiritual world here is incredibly deep and varied, so is the natural one. It's really time we shatter that stereotype of just a flat, empty desert. To really get a handle on this landscape, you have to appreciate the extremes. The surface of Iran's Lut Desert can reach 70 degrees Celsius. That is 159 degrees Fahrenheit. It's one of the most brutal environments on Earth, and yet, somehow, life finds a way. And to give you a sense of the sheer scale of it all, look at this. The Rubles Ali, or the Empty Quarter, is the largest continuous sand desert in the world. This single sea of dunes is so vast it could swallow the entire country of France. But the desert also holds these surreal secrets. It defies our expectations with stuff that looks like it belongs on another planet. Which brings up a pretty wild question. Okay, so here's how it happens. In Iran's Lake Urmia, the intense summer sun evaporates tons of water.
This makes the lake incredibly salty. That extreme saltiness then triggers a bloom of microscopic algae and bacteria that release this vibrant red pigment, completely changing the water's color. It's pure biology, but man, it feels like magic. And then there's this jaw-dropping site in southern Qatar, the Inland Sea. It's one of the only places in the world where towering sand dunes literally march right into the ocean. It's a place so remote and unique, it's a UNESCO-recognized biosphere.
All right, so we've journeyed from the ancient past and the wild earth. Now let's rocket to the future. Because these lands aren't just preserving history, they are aggressively, and I mean aggressively, building tomorrow.
And this is where you can really see the contrast in action. On one hand, you have the 1,000-year-old soul of Jeddah's Al Balad, with its houses built from Red Sea coral. And on the other, you have the Pearl in Qatar, a completely man-made island that reimagines Venice in the middle of the Gulf. It's the past and the future, living side by side.
And that ambition is literally etched into the skyline. You've got a museum that looks like a crystal desert rose, a skyscraper that became the crown of a new Riyadh, an 80,000-seat stadium inspired by traditional lanterns that hosted the entire world. These aren't just buildings, they're massive statements of intent.
So what's the ultimate takeaway here? I think it's that from ancient empires and sacred prayers to surreal landscapes and futuristic cities, the real story is always richer, it's deeper, and it's way more human than the headlines ever have time for.
You know, we've journeyed beyond the news today, but this exploration doesn't have to stop here. So the real question is, what will you be curious about tomorrow? Which story, hidden in plain sight,